Oh man, another fun late night at the Big Money Garage. Uh, I'm installing my new engine. I'll show you that here in just a second. But the found out what was wrong with the old motor. It had been bored 40 over, and I don't know if it had a mold shift whenever it's made, but the piston, the cylinder wall cracked. I don't know if this will show up. See that crack? That's what happened. It didn't spin a rod bearing or anything. It's just that this cylinder busted. And that is like a early 80s, late 70s, early 80s block. It has that small stamp pad on it, which they came out with that in 1977, the smaller one. But anyway, at the paint swap meet a few months ago, I bought a new old stock 327 block, and I thought I would go through it and, you know, make sure it was in good shape and everything. I mean, it was brand new, never used, but I wanted to make sure that it hadn't rusted up in the cylinder. And all these markings mean something. And when I took it apart, it had a forged steel crank in it. It had the pinky rods, or pink rods, that are special, and flat top pistons. And, you know, all of it's never been used. Got to looking at one of my 601 casting heads, and it looked like it took a pretty good beating whenever that piston kicked sideways a little bit from the busted block. So I bought new aluminum heads. They're Flowtech 180s, and they were a good price, but more importantly than that, they were the only heads available. So yeah, I'm sure dart heads and all this other stuff are a lot better and everything, AFRs, but you can't get them right now, or not where I went. So those I was able to buy at a good price, cheaper than what it would cost to have a lot of work done to some old heads. So all rotating parts on this engine are brand new. New block, new crank, new rods, new pistons, new cam, new lifters, new valves. Everything is new. That is a brand new engine. And with the Tremec 5-speed, it has to pretty much stay put in the car. You cannot slide it back because it takes up every bit of that room between the bell housing and the cross member. So I had to make this 2x4 hold it up in place while I installed this engine. Also, the motor has to go in at the right angle. So I left the engine mounts unbolted to the side of the block, so that way they wouldn't be sticking down and catch on the frame mounts. I also left the exhaust manifolds off because you need to be able to slide the engine straight back and into, you know, onto that input shaft. I made some long dowel pins. I don't know if, well, they're just long bolts to kind of guide it. And actually, I was able to get it in there at an angle a little bit higher than what I thought. I was afraid I was going to put it down in place and then slide it back. So apparently, thanks to this transmission lift that I've made, I got my transmission held up a little higher, so that was able to get it in there. But oh man, it was hard to pull it out with the mounts holding it down in place firmly. So just like replacing the engine mounts whenever they go bad with the motor in the car, that's what I'll do to put it back on. Same thing with the exhaust manifolds and everything like that. But basically, I have a brand new 327 that's going in this car. Oh, I shouldn't show this, but I've still got the 427, and one day, you know, I may put that in there. I've got it covered up, you know, so that it doesn't get crap in it and things like that. And I'll do something better with it than that, but I sure like driving it better with the small block. Handles better, and there's a lot more room to work on it. I can't imagine trying to get a big block in there with the Tremec 5-speed in there. These cars really need to have an unboltable cross member, but they don't. And it's going my way. All I got to do is slide it back about another inch. It'll be completely on the input shaft, and I'll be glad it's in. It hasn't been hardly any work at all. It just kind of went back in there. My engine hoist does all the work for me. Fun at the Big Money Garage. Thanks for watching.